Welcome to Female Footy Focus. It is grand final week. We're recapping the 6 senior women's grand finals and doing things a little bit differently today. We've done it in the format of our EFNL Insight show to get more of a visual point of view, of course, with the grand finals. Get some highlight reels involved today, and a fantastic weekend of football. We've had junior finals, netball grand finals, veterans grand finals, the senior women's competitions, senior men's finals have now underway, so it was a big weekend in the Eastern Football Netball League. But a lot to talk about. I'm Ryan Long, media manager with the EFNL, joined by Blake Tennant today, who has been just as busy across the weekend. If you were around at any sort of final this weekend, you would have heard your voice for sure.
Yes, I reckon you probably heard that annoying voice you heard on Saturday as well. And good weekend. Netball finals, it's footy, it's definitely arrived. And, we saw some fairy tale finishes, and then we also saw some history in the making on Saturday and Sunday. Well, it was a bit of a surprise, but we'll talk a bit more in the later details.
Yeah, correct. And today, of course, if you are listening on Spotify, you'll hear your normal Female Footy Focus episode. But if you want to see the full version on YouTube, you can find it there. But really looking forward to breaking down these 6 grand finals. And Blake, myself and you were out at H.E. Parker Reserve. So we saw Prem Division 1 and Division 4, which were 3 of the close ones as well. Division 1, I think it was about 20 or so points. But
26 points,
yeah. The other 2, 3 points in it. It was a massive day.
Yeah, it really was. I think I got there probably around 8:30, 8:45, and the car parks were already full almost. So, I learned my lesson. Get there a little bit more early, I guess. And, it was a really good day of footy. Obviously, Vermont Gold, coming up a division and winning the premiership was really special as well. And I think it was Sarah Sapitrio walking out with the best on ground medal for the Vermont Gold, which is incredible. And the Eagles really controlled, that first game. I thought, and we'll turn to south, were very defensive early, which may have spent a few more petrol tickets, Ryan.
And we will jump into, of course, that grand final in a moment, but we are going to start with Division 5, which was out at Quamby Reserve, and we did have a couple technical issues in terms of the live streams with the internet connection down at Quamby, so we're going to try and upload those full games, or re-upload them to EFNL YouTube page this week, and potentially by the time you're listening, it's already up. But that grand final, Norwood 5-8-38 defeating Heathmont Blue 2-3-15, a 23-point win for Norwood in the Division 5 grand final. And actually, one of the things to note from that day was the best on ground medal. Blake went to a player from the losing side in Heathmont, Emily Watson. Walking away with the best on ground medal for Heathmont Blue, and a really impressive performance in a losing side, and great game in the end because it was just 2 points in at 3/4 time before Norwood were able to break away in the last quarter. And we've talked a lot about Norwood, and they are the benchmark of Division 5, but Heathmont Blue gave it a real crack, and two good stories. It was always going to be a success for both clubs just to be able to get there on grand final day.
No, it really was. Norwood, winning that one, and their first ever coming into the division, I guess. Is this their first year? I think it is too, correct? No, it was really good seeing them, celebrate, this premiership as well, because, they were the benchmark team all year around, and, it's always a bit weird, I would say, especially if the losing side wins the best on ground, but obviously must have had a strong contribution.
And it wasn't the only player too, so we'll talk about that. But
really good to hear that Norwood progressed through and won the premiership.
Yeah, certainly right. It was a fantastic performance from Norwood, and that they had a big weekend. They had their a couple of their netball sides on Friday night playing off in the grand finals. I think they had a Division 2 team that defeated Surrey Park. That was the extra time game on the netball Friday night against Surrey. So that was a good win there. You were watching that one?
Yes, I was. That was an incredible game of netball, and it was really like from start to finish, it was always going to be tight to see who would walk out. And yeah, it was just, unfortunately, it just had to be a loser, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's right. And of course, for the senior women's, it was never going to be the 147 points that it was in the semi-final. No. When you looked at Heathmont Blues' side and all those junior players who had been playing senior footy and playing good in the senior side were not available due to their own junior final series. Having them back was a big positive against Templestone last week, and we saw that, and certainly saw it on the scoreboard. And then following it up on grand final day, they were quite impressive, and one of those players have obviously walking away with the best on ground medal. So they've done well. Two teams in the competition on grand final day, which we're going to touch on the second one in just a moment. But we'll talk about the game that we were out at H.G. Parker in the morning between Wantirna South and Vermont Gold. And another, for the second year in a row, we've had a Division 4 grand final separated by less than a kick. It was Vermont Gold 2-5-17 defeating Wantirna South 2-14. 3-point win to the Eagles. And having a look at both sides, just had a look at the best players. They've actually listed Ruby Waddingham as their best, who was good, very good. We gave the best on ground medal to Sarah Salpicho, who was, I thought, across the entire final series. When we saw her last week, and she was, we've actually having a look through. I don't know if we did our tips for best on for Division 4 prior to the game, but she was certainly one of those names that we thought could win it, and I thought she was absolutely exceptional in the victory, Blake.
No, she was, and really set the team up as well. And, it was a historic day as well. And, Waddingham, just that run up the half back that she provided for Vermont probably got the nod over why Vermont put her on for the best on ground. But Sarah was just everywhere with the ball and really set up Vermont's premiership.
Yeah, she was, and had such an influence in that preliminary final to get them there in the first place. Cameron Disney listed best for Wantirna South, and I agree with that call. I think if Wantirna South had got across the line, I think she probably would have walked away with the medal. She was absolutely exceptional for the Devils, and the way she played, you can tell why she's always in the best for the Devils. Clearly one of the best players in the competition, and I thought she stood up alongside some of their defenders as well. McDonald was really good. We saw Darcy Clark make an impact up forward, a bit of an X factor for them. And they threw everything they had at it. Even in that last few seconds, there was still an opportunity for Wantirna South. They were still pushing. They were on the edge of their forward 50. So it was a really tight contest. Bit of an arm wrestle, would you say, in that first half to see who would be able to strike first?
No, I felt that way too. Both sides had a crack and a dip. And, I thought, Vermont, they started off the game really well. And then after that, Wantirna South started to, come back into the game sort of thing. And then it was a bit of a scrap in the third. And then the fourth quarter, I think Vermont really wanted a bit more, unfortunately, than Wantirna South did.
Well, it really was a fantastic game between the both sides. And it was a real tight one. We were wrong on something early on in that first quarter or second quarter from memory. It was the first quarter where we thought for sure a player had marked it inside 50. We're going to go to the footage here. It's on the screen at the moment. And we actually miscalled this and said that Clarkey, the great Sean Clark, great umpire there, that he messed this one up. Can she put the first on the board for Vermont on grand final dates? High, it's marked on the line by Georgia McDonald. That's important grab for Wantirna South.
And I don't know what's going on here. Sean
Clark, so has called the behind.
Sean Clark, mate, he doesn't miss. Oh, interesting.
I'd have to have a look at the replay on that one.
Clarkey was 100 metres away. I'm
having a look at the replay. You call while
yeah, you find that out. I don't think that was behind. Sean Clark was 100 metres away.
Oh, that's not a behind.
That's an all-time low.
So we did, obviously you just saw that there, but we did apologise at quarter time because we missed, we looked down at our team sheet and not realised that the play had gone behind the
Well,
obviously.
he actually messaged me in the morning yesterday.
Yep.
Because we are filming on Monday, sorry. And, he told me, he goes, yes, I'm all, come on, Blake. I expect an apology and expect an apology from you as well, he said. So
yeah, we were wrong.
Shout out to Clarkey.
Yep.
He doesn't miss, unfortunately.
And unfortunately, he went down.
Yes.
A bit controversial, injured early on in that game, so had to come off.
Well, Clarkey, because,
We love Clarkey. First thing in the morning, I had a coffee from Clarkey, who brought them in. Very good man. And a great game that was, Vermont Gold and Wanturna South. So congratulations to the Eagles. They walk away as the Division 4 premiers. Interested to see how they go next year, because a lot of those players obviously played footy in that Premier Division
team.
side. So they've got a really good setup. Their junior program's fantastic. For Wanturna South, big tick again this year, because we saw last season, and I think a lot of us tipped them. That was my tip at the start of the season, to win the flag, and to get back to a grand final, after going out in straight sets last year. That's a big, another big tick for them, a big improvement, and they, I would say, would be right around the mark again next season. So
no, they'll be definitely the favourites to win it all. But also, you got to remember, Bayswater would try to be seeking some redemption as well.
And you're correct, and they had injuries at probably the wrong time of year with that preliminary final, and that certainly, probably cost them in the end and their chances of going all the way. But going on to that Heathmont Coldstream game in the Division 3 Grand Final, the Jets completed the undefeated season, winning 10-9-69 to Coldstream 6-3-39, a 30-point win out at Quamby Reserve. We haven't got the goal kickers listed or the best listed for Coldstream, but Bronte Arnott was listed best on for the Jets. Hayley Ferris kicked 3 goals. Rachel McPherson kicked 2. Amy Morrow kicked 2. And then singles to Arnott, Brown and Scotto. Funnily enough, another, it's quite rare that this does happen, but the best on ground medal did go to Sophie Stark from Coldstream. So that was probably another surprise when I found out that as well. So I'd say she would have hit the scoreboard on Saturday. But for obviously the Jets, the Jets are the big story out of this game, because they now walk away as undefeated in 2025 with the premiership. And obviously we were at H.E. Parker because we were doing the other senior women's grand final. So they came in after and were celebrating in the rooms.
They
and we were probably leaving just as they were starting to turn off the lights, and the music was starting to get a bit louder.
No, it was. They did pretty well, considering, we were still having to go with the vets, and, when they started singing and all that, I think it was time to leave, I reckon.
Yes,
Let them celebrate.
We're getting out of their way, of course, but I mean, for everything that Heathmont have done this year under Adam Sullivan, they've been, by far the benchmark of this competition, and they've defeated the Coldstream side now by 4 times throughout the year. And we always thought, I think earlier on, we thought it was maybe a 2-horse race, and can Coldstream get them? And I think we sort of thought they could. But the longer the season went on, and I think the more they just continuously proved that no one was going to beat them this year, the Jets. That's an unbelievable season for them.
Yeah, undefeated, successful year, and really good to see Heathmont do their business like they did, and they just proved every challenge that they're here to play. A good brand of footy, and really showed on the big stage, definitely.
Certainly right. Murrelbach versus Montrose, 5-8-38. The Mustangs defeating Montrose 2-1-13 in the Division 2 Grand Final. The three-peat is complete, Blake. There's a couple of big stories. There's one in Premier and one in Div 1 that we're going to talk about in a moment. But this is arguably one of the biggest, because the Mustangs have created some history here, 3 in a row. And Karen Ralph will lead the side into Division 2 next year. Fantastic, Division 1, sorry. They've already conquered Division 2. 4-3-2. And look, I wouldn't put them past them to go on again. I know we'll talk about that later, but great win.
It's just terrific. And, I know Karen pretty well, and, I think she'll be pretty stoked about just the way. And the way she celebrated as well when she lifted the cup up, just all the emotion, coming out, very excited. And, 3 in a row, like, when have you seen that in a women's program? I don't think I've ever seen a side, win not only one, but two, but now three.
And going up divisions too.
Yeah, and winning it. So it's, really good. Well done to Murrelbach. It's a historic day for that footy club, and, always good to beat the arch enemy in Montrose, which is, something that, they'll be very excited to hear about. But
By the way they're tracking 2027, lock them in for a Premier Division premiership. When are they going to find their level? Like this, that will be the great question, and that's why I'm really excited. I know we're not going to get too much into next year, but that's why I'm really excited to break down what that division will look like. And we're going to talk about the sides that we saw on Grand Final Day on Saturday. But Murrelbach, I think they're, Surrey Park came up into that division straight into a Grand Final. I think Murrelbach are in a really, really good spot. They weren't as dominant as Surrey Park in two, but that they finished off the season spectacularly well.
Just got to start, keep the team together, I think, because I had a look at their team, and a lot of the teammates have played together through, the three flags that they've won. So just got to get through that bit, and if they can keep them, they'll be very hard. And if they can recruit as well, which will be even better for Murrelbach going forward. But it is a historic day as well. And
Sarah Haberfield, best on ground.
Yeah, well, basketball background, Ryan, as well.
There you go.
Yeah, it would have been dominant in the ruck, would have had the first use to our midfielders, and that's what got them going. I reckon she's probably one of the best ruckmans, probably if not the best one in that competition as we speak.
And of course, and I actually, because I did tip all my best on ground winners prior to the game, and I don't think they ever got published. I did predict a Haberfield to win it, but I had Ruby, not Sarah.
Yeah.
But both have been in really good form coming into that. Just to mention for Montrose, Shalette Baker, last game as a coach, and what she's been able to achieve at the club, not just on the field, but off the field as well, and the continued development of women's football through the juniors to the seniors at Montrose Footy Club. Fantastic job from her, and doesn't finish with the premiership, but to guide them to back-to-back grand finals, really successful tenure.
No, it is, and she should be really proud of the way, she's handled herself, obviously. Unfortunately, last coaching the game for Montrose, and but I think they should be very happy of the way it all finished. Unfortunately, couldn't get the ultimate prize, but she can definitely hang her head up high, because to lead a club into back-to-back grand finals when they haven't won a final, coming into 2024, of course, and I think she'll be, emotional. Yes, they didn't walk away with that exclusive premiership, but I think she'll be also happy of the way, the club's in good hands. That's just how I feel with Montrose.
Yeah, I agree, and I think with what she's been able to achieve, and one thing I hope that stays on is that Girls' Day Out initiative.
It will be. I reckon it will be.
It will? Oh, fantastic, because that's been quite enjoyable to obviously get involved with from a media point of view, and what they've been able to achieve, and a great season for Montrose to be able to get back to the grand final stage. Murrelbach, I'm already looking forward to next year with how that's going to go, because could you imagine? Could you picture 4 in a row? I know we're getting ahead of ourselves, but
I don't think so.
I'd say
they're a chance. Don't get me wrong, but
something that just rarely happens in any type of football. Four flags in a row. So we'll keep that talking point for
next year.
For next year. But congratulations to everyone down at Murrelbach. Very successful season once again, 3 in a row. North Ringwood versus Surrey Park in the Division 1 Grand Final. The Saints, the redemption story was complete. 7-6-48 to Surrey Park, 3-4-22 down at H.E. Parker Reserve on Saturday afternoon. A game that me and you both called, and we're going to break this down in a couple of parts. But first of all, the best players and the goal kickers for North Ringwood. Carly Forbes walked away with the Division 1 Best on Ground medal. I thought she was fantastic. Rachel Coney, Ella Rhodes, Matilda Broadhurst, Sarah Hum and Emma Redden all listed in the best as well. Georgie Marston kicked 2 goals. Sanders kicked 2. Wilson kicked 2. Carly Forbes kicked 1. And for Surrey Park, Bradshaw kicked 2 and was lively, particularly in that first half. Tao Coughlin also kicked 1. Mia Kolinick, listed as their best player on the ground, was fantastic in defence. Does not make a single mistake with the footy. She's a very classy player. Kate Tanner, Mathilda Lewis, Emma Bradshaw, Georgia Mann, and Taya Coughlin rounding out the best players there for Surrey Park. But what do you want to talk about first? The fact for North Ringwood, who have been the benchmark in this division, is very exciting for this club. They had a huge weekend. They had the senior women's win the flag, the vets winning the flag, 19s won on Sunday. They would have had junior teams winning flags. Senior men's finished out the weekend with a comprehensive win over Baronia in the elimination final.
It's a good day to be a Saint, Ryan.
Big day to be a Saint. They kept marching on.
Yeah, they do, and that's a big win for North Ringwood. Just for that whole weekend, I would say that's probably their most successful weekend, maybe for the club's history, the proud club's history. Yep. So, but North Ringwood, I thought I felt the way the game it felt was like, I think when Surrey Park had the lead, I think they had a lead for a brief moment, and you could just spill the North Ringwood, not again. That's the words I felt like, not again. Obviously, what happened last year, and coming into this one, and Surrey Park had the lead, and that's how I felt like with North Ringwood, and they just got that hoodoo of that grand final pressure, saying, hang on, we've been the benchmark of this competition now for this whole year. Let's bring it in on the show, what we're made of, and that's what they truly did. I felt like that fourth quarter they put Surrey Park away. They might have kicked maybe 2 or 3 goals in that last quarter to put put Surrey Park away. And I think I can also give Surrey Park a lot of flowers as well, because they've had a tough 3 weeks getting into the decider, and a big win over Knox and then beating Bourne at Sylvan as well, which is great. So, but there's a lot of stories for this one. Surrey Park playing in 3 straight grand finals, of course, and then North Ringwood, of course, saluting on the big day as well.
Yeah, it was that second quarter that was really intriguing, because North Ringwood had the only goal in the first quarter, and they, I think they had more control in it, but it was pretty even. And then Surrey Park did, you're right, kick 2 goals and get out to a bit of a lead, or very small lead, but they got in front, and then North Ringwood went bang, bang very quickly. And that's the thing they've done all season. When they do have momentum, they punish sides, and you just saw the impact of Rhodes, of Forbes. I didn't think there was one clear standout across the board in both sides. I thought it was a very even game, and I thought Carly Forbes just maybe had a little bit more impact on the contest, and also hit the scoreboard as well. So I thought she was a super deserving winner of the Best on Ground award. But they had contributors across the board, which they have all season. Like, we were lucky enough to speak to both Rachel and Sarah from the club at North Ringwood during the week, and they spoke super well about the side, and we're very honest about, obviously, what it would mean to the club to win that one, and going into it, as clearly they knew that their best was going to be good enough if they were able to achieve it, and they were, and it was a fantastic result for everyone involved at North Ringwood. And Surrey Park, they threw everything they had at them. They were I know they probably play a very similar type of game style as we've spoken to both coaches as well during the week, and I think that was the biggest thing out of the week, that there was a lot of respect for both clubs from respective coaches and players.
Yeah, no, it was really good day out as well. I felt like it was also an emotional win for North Ringwood, just because they've done it, and the hard pre-season. It's never easy when you lose a premiership year below that, and to get yourself up to doing what that team did 12 months ago, and I think they should be all proud. And they're going into Premier next year, and I feel like Premier Division's going to be a lot tougher, and it's going to be more even. And I feel like there could be even, I think last year we said, this year, I think we said there was probably one team that could miss out. That was pretty good, but just well unlucky. But that's how I felt. There could be 2 good teams that could miss out next year, especially with North Ringwood coming.
Yeah, Premier is going to be very exciting. And the fact that, and again, we've said this now a few times, but North Ringwood was 7 points or maybe 2 goals away from winning that flag, and they led at 3/4 time last year against Park Orchards. We're going to touch on Park Orchards in a second and explain what they've done, which is incredible. But there's no reason why North Ringwood can't do the same thing. I think they're in that same boat. They've got the development squad going along really nicely. They played off in their first final series. The depth is arguably as good as anyone's. I think it's right there as number 1 or 2. South Croydon's obviously very strong across the board in 2 teams, but North Ringwood potentially is even better. And they've got the junior program that will continue to build and continue to lead that pathway from junior to senior. So they're always going to be I really don't see them ever dropping out of Premier Division.
No.
I think once it was just getting there, and now, I mean, and we've said it before, I really do see them winning a flag in Premier Division in the next 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, no, I kind of agree with that one as well. Just, if they can keep that group together, of course, and then, things could come their way. We're going to talk about, I know we're heavily talking about Park Orchards with this one, but, if North Ringwood can look at what Park Orchards did on the weekend, they 100% can do it. So, yeah.
And we are going to touch on Park Orchards in a moment. We're going to have a quick break and then jump into that great Premier Division Grand Final. A lot would, obviously a big day out on Saturday, and we were there for the 3 games. One thing that caught our eye quite a bit was the minions that were on the far side of the ground at H.E. Parker Reserve. They all came in, and we were trying to work out for a while who they belonged to or who they were celebrating.
Heathmont. I'm like, I don't know.
No, I didn't. Yeah, it didn't quite make sense to be Heathmont, but it was. I believe it was. They were all there for Sanders.
I think that was for her, but they celebrated when she kicked that goal in the last quarter. So
yeah, well, I'm pretty sure. We can be corrected if we're wrong on that one, but that was great to see as well. A lot of support. I can't think of a time at a senior women's grand final that a huddle has been that big. For North Ringwood, the crowd was massive. I know Surrey's was big too, and unfortunately for them, their senior men's clashed at the same time. But North Ringwood, the amount of support that was out on that ground, and they then returned the favour on Sunday when the senior men's were playing.
They all were there in their seats.
Yeah, I'd say it would have been a few dusty.
I did hear it did go very.
It would have been a big night.
Would have been down at Quamby Reserve. I saw a video on the socials as well with the 2 teams that won. Were in a big video together, just singing the club song in the middle of the ground too.
Yeah, that's fantastic. They've got a very good one-club culture to North Ringwood. We're going to take one quick break here, and then we're going to jump straight into the Premier Division Grand Final and break it all down.
What can they do here? This is, the question that we keep asking this great Park Orchards team. What have they got left in the tank here? Down by 4 points. They can get the next one. Here they go. They've got a big opportunity. Panzer lines up. Is that through? Is that a goal? It is.
It's home.
Oh, we have got a grandstand finish in this Premier Division Grand Final. The Sharks have hit the front for the first time this afternoon. And guess who it is? Alana Panzer,
the skipper.
captain.
Captain's goal, Blakey.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Deakin University Female Footy Focus. Just bringing us in on that break was the goal that put Park Orchards in front at the start of the 4th quarter. Alana Panzer, captain's performance. She actually won the best on ground medal, had a superb afternoon, and we are going to break down this Premier Division Grand Final because we said at the start it could be one of the all-time greats, and that last quarter, really, really exciting football to see. The Sharks get across the line, back-to-back flags. They won 4-12-36 to 4-9-33, and it's the first time we believe that a side has come up from Division 1 and won the flag in the first year of Premier Division. Of course, the Devils in 22 came into the competition, but they didn't come up from a lower division. They came in from, obviously, a rival league. So what a performance from the Sharks. Alana Panzer, best on ground, was fantastic. Bertoldi, Livingston, Hutchinson, Hohen and Campbell also listed in the best for the South Belgrave side. Santa Maggio, who I thought was quite impressive for them, she was listed as their best player. Markby, Cormac, Mason, Shepherd and Powell also in the best. But where do we start? I mean, we can talk about the game in a second, but let's focus on the achievement in itself to come up a division and to come into Premier Division. We've talked a lot about the Mustangs and their three-peat.
Yeah.
But for Premier Division, I mean, look, all year we're saying that, you know, just consolidating your spot in the division is priority number one. And that's, you know, as long as you do that, that's a big success. But to make the finals, we thought, wow, you know, that's huge. That's great. You've made final series in Premier Division. To win a final, so all right, well, that's a, you know, big. That's another box tick. That's a, you know, the big success. 2 finals to make grand final, and then we're starting to go wow, and to actually win that grand final against the side who was probably the benchmark this season in Premier Division. Incredible. There's no words really to describe it.
I'm still shocked, to be honest. Like, I wasn't expecting it. You know, I thought South Belgrave, they really had control of the game, even though it was a low-scoring sort of affair sort of game. But, geez, they've done it again, haven't they? You know, this great Park Orchards team of what they did last year, you know, I thought, you know, they're going to be up there, but I didn't expect them to be, you know, surviving in you know, the finals. I thought the Devils, they had the number coming into that final series, but I think the Sharks just got bored of winning the first one, and they just wanted to win another one just to have fun. So no, but I thought, you know, Panzer, that goal in the last quarter really set them going, and you know, they've recruited, you know, I think the pickup of the Premier Women's Division, and I'm quite happy to say it here, but Ava Campbell.
Agreed.
She 100% feature in the Chang of the Medal night for, she could honestly win it. That's how.
She's been phenomenal, hasn't she?
Spending time, of course, at Collingwood VFLW, of course. So, but the Sharks, it's just, you know, I didn't think they, like at halftime, I'm sitting here thinking, I don't think they could do it here. I think South Belgrave, you know, they're home here. They look controlled. They look pretty steady to go. But the Sharks just never refused. They just never gave up that attitude that they've had. You know, they were down against North Ringwood as well in the third quarter.
Yeah, had to come back.
Yeah, so they're just doing some really good footy, and I was so happy that, you know, they won, and it was a historic day, never to be done sort of thing as well. And I think the main thing was on their banner, it had one shot. So,
well, they took it.
Yeah, so that's what they were really happy about.
A couple of things on this, and because you brought up the first half, they were 0 goals 7 to 1 goal 5, and I thought one of the more dangerous players on the ground who was she did everything right except finish in front of goal. I thought Izzy Pollock lit him up early and was exciting up forward. A lot of speed on her. She picked the ball up so cleanly on one of those passages of play in the second term, which we have up on the screen, where just missed the shot, hit the post twice. I felt like their first half, I actually felt like they had more control and they had more forward 50 entries. The only thing they didn't do was put it on the scoreboard and punish South Belgrave. So then you go into halftime and you can go one or two ways. You can look at it and get a little bit disappointed with the way things have gone, and you know, go into your shell, and South Belgrave could you know kick a couple early and put this game away, or you come out and you just keep playing the way you are playing because you are doing a lot right, and hit the scoreboard and get the confidence back. And they did get the first of the third quarter, and that really, I think, really helped it. It was the first quarter? No, it was the second goal of the third quarter. South Belgrave got the first of that third term to get it out to 10 points. Then they hit back. Mia McAuliffe got the set shot goal, the Sharks' first of the day. And then it really became...
Yeah. I think that first goal that they kicked, that got them going. Yeah. That's how I felt like. And, you know, Mia McAuliffe, they just waited for that first goal and, you know, really sparked them on to keep going. And, you know, I thought Livingston in the ruck, Chloe, sorry, she was superb as well all day and competed really hard in the ruck too. So, but South Belgrave, you know, yes, best team all year, no questions asked about that one. But they're going to go into next year with a lot of belief. You know, if you look at past results, sides losing the grand finals and then winning the next year, they're going to go into that situation again. And they lost in 2022, but they were the SBL Wolves, of course.
In 23, yeah.
Yeah, 23. So they've still got a lot of hunger in there. They should be pretty happy if the way their season went, because to me, I thought they were one of the better improvers as well in the division as well. So, but for Park Orchards, it's just the scenes and going into the rooms and just seeing everyone up and about really showed it, and the men's one as well.
Yep.
So it was a busy day down there at Domini Reserve that night, I reckon.
It would have been, and you're right, and I think Shane Mason for South Belgrave has done a great job with that group, and across the board they're going to they've had a lot of improvement, and when you talk about this division, and next year's going to be so exciting because you throw North Ringwood into the mix. Baronia, if they get some of those players available more often across the season, for obviously a lot of VFL talent. Vermont, you'd expect them to get better again. We could be looking at a side that finishes second last, who could arguably be a final side. Like that's how exciting this competition is going to be. But for Park Orchards, their final series last 2 years, they've not had the double chance on either of those two occasions. So they've won 6 finals in a row.
In the elimination, though.
Yeah, everyone's been a must-win final. So you go through them. You go started with East Ringwood out at Sylvan Rec Reserve last year. They played the prelim against Domval, the grand final against North Ringwood this year. The 3 biggest sides of Premier Division that have dominated the league in
Devils,
South and
now South Belgrave.
Yeah, so. It's an incredible run.
It is, and you speak about getting the players right at the right time. Georgia Livingston wasn't available for Park Orchards, but all she needed to do was just play those 3 games, and then she can qualify, and that's what she did. So I thought they got their players at the right time. There was a little bit of a period there where we thought they lost a few games, like that South Croydon game that we covered, a few weeks back, and I thought, I don't know if they can beat the Devils because the Devils had their wood, of course, and they not only did they win, but they won comfortably. So
Well, I'll put my hand up and say at watching that game against South Croydon, and the Dogs got away early in that first half. I thought after that game, you know what? I think 3 sides can win. I think Park Orchards can win a final or 2. I don't think they can win the flag. They proved everyone wrong. It is one hell of a story.
Can I just say, I'm also, I feel like I'm a genius here as well. But
I don't know about that.
I've been on Park Orchard's case, I reckon, since May, June.
Have you got evidence?
I do. You can look back at the...
Are you going to throw it to the camera?
Well, you can if you want, but I put it out there. I think when they beat South Belgrave, that's when I said that they can win the premiership. So if you can, chase that one up, mate.
I'll let you chase that up for me. I don't know if you... I think you... To be fair, I think you actually did say that.
Yeah, and then you were like... a little bit
I wasn't... I just... It's so hard to go up to Premier Division and win. That they are... I think this is one of the great stories in the senior women's competition, for sure.
And, just the pure emotion as well after the game. So really good job by Park Orchards.
And just for that last quarter, how exciting was that? Where it was back and forth goals.
Penny Bowen kicked that goal. I think she sealed the day for Park
Bowen
Orchards.
put it up to 10 points.
Yeah,
and then South Belgrave get that last one with maybe a minute left, 30 seconds, and they got it forward. And I think there was at least a minute and a bit to go in that last quarter, and it was probably quite nervous at both coaching boxes, boxes. But
you can just say now that Park Orchards they can really get into the pressure. With the pressure moments matter and the game's on the line, they took their moment, and that's how I felt like they were going to be in control of the game. Yeah,
I 100% agree with that, and it's going to be very exciting to see what happens next year.
Because they've been in 6 elimination finals now. They finished 3rd or 4th, and they've won them all. So we can officially say that they really enjoy taking their moments.
They love finals footy.
They do.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's a fantastic performance. And then just on the skipper as well, I know we touched on it briefly, but for a captain to stand up on the big stage, you can't ask for anything more.
Nah, she was terrific, and really, a true definition of. Alana Panzer just said to her teammates, well, she probably didn't say it, of course, but so I'm just going to put you on my shoulders, just join in, just jump on my shoulders, and I'll deliver this premiership to this great Park Orchards team. Really solid, that goal outside 50, I think it was outside 50, where she played on off the mark and really controlled that game and. Set them up in that last quarter, which is great.
Yeah, one of my favourite grand finals to cover, that one. That was fantastic. And we've even got, obviously, if you're listening on at Spotify, you won't be able to see this, but we've got the record cover behind me, which is all right to be able to...
Don't drop that.
I know, I'm being a little bit careful with that. But, of course, behind you as well, you've got...
Yep.
The netball grand final poster between Croydon and East Ringwood.
Yeah, that was I think Croydon won that after 3 attempts.
Yes, yeah, it was their third grand final in a row, and they got through and yeah, don't drop it, and won the grand final. We should start making some premiership posters. It took me a little bit on Canva to play around with that.
What happened to Sporting Fine Art?
Yeah, they've got their mascots and that, but we'll do our own premiership posters, Blake. That could be this week's task.
Yeah.
And that could be, we need more posters and stuff in our media room and make this a little bit more. We've got the stubby holders in front of you, but we haven't probably figured out a plan, but that can be an off-season project.
Yep, definitely, for sure. And, definitely a lot of things to look forward to, but, I'm sure some people from Park Orchards are just still shocked, I reckon, and they did it.
Well, and I know we've probably got a few more minutes here before we finish up, but just a couple other things. Obviously, the grand final women's breakfast we had on Friday. Thank you to Mercure Melbourne Doncaster for hosting the event. Was great to be out there on Friday. I got to speak to the captains and coaches of the Premier Division side, captains in the netball competition between East Ringwood and Croydon, and our veteran women's representatives from both sides. Just on that, of course, to obviously be able to hear from both Dave, Alana from Park Orchards, and then obviously Shane and Nikki from South Belgrave. One of the things we asked Dave was, expectation-wise, what were you, expecting? Were you expecting to be able to go this far and get into a grand final? And first thing he said was, all we were hoping for is not to get relegated. That was his first comment, and that was so. You're right. There are probably a fair few people shocked with just how well everything has gone this year.
Nah, definitely. And that's a funny comment that Dave made. And he's been a really good coach as well, first year. And, it's really good to see that, David, a bit of pressure, of course, a new coach coming from a premiership team. So really good to see.
Yeah, certainly right. And then, of course, it was, it was probably a big... It's big for the league to be able to have that breakfast and obviously have that involvement with the players and coaches, and something we'll hopefully be able to replicate in 2026. And also, it's great to find out that you have your first aid certificate. That's something I never knew about you.
It's a level 1 and 2. Just don't doubt me. It's fine.
Look, I don't know. I've seen you try and diagnose injuries before, and it's not great.
When have I done that?
On a weekly basis at match of the rounds, hamstrings and stuff, and then it's actually a shoulder. And
I know how to do cramps, so if you ever get a cramp, I know how to do that.
I would go to a real...
I know how to strap a shoulder, knee.
Yeah, okay. I reckon Kane Hendon got injured a couple of years last year, maybe, when we saw Coldstream, Surrey Park, and we've got to find that footage, because I'm sure whatever injury you said it was not that particular injury.
We had one of our fine media members say that one time too, but it was Foster. But yeah,
should we throw to it?
Yeah, go for it.
Of course, this is pretty much it for us in terms of the female footy focus. We're going to do hopefully some maybe podcasts and more shows like this in the future, and potentially we might be able to do something on maybe Team of the Years and some sort of podcast to keep some content coming out in the future weeks.
I want to have a grand final show. That'll be great.
Grand final show. Of course, still got senior men's stuff, but for a senior women's point of view, the season done. But we can come back in and discuss. We should do our own Team of the Years. I know there's going to be official ones, but we might have to. That's some homework for you if you want to get started. Get started on a Premier Division Team of the Year.
For women's?
Yep.
Yeah, I reckon I can.
But name three, before you leave, 3 players you'd have to, a must.
That are locks. Okay. Well, how I see it is, you put me on the spot.
Yeah, I know.
But how I see
you
it
listed
is,
one before that I think is a definite.
Which one was that?
Ava Campbell.
Yep, she'll be my full back. I'll put her down in the full back. Well, I see it as a spine. Obviously you got your back in the back, like of your spine.
Yeah.
And then you got someone in the middle, and then forward down the end there. So I think it's just a given that you give whoever's the leading goal kicker, which is Olivia Flanagan.
Yep.
So she'll probably be my forward. And then midfielder, there's a lot of good midfielders.
I'm sorry, it was a hard question to throw you on the spot. We'll
those two, they were my two. They're my 2 locks.
Yeah, we'll hopefully be able to get a podcast. But a big thank you to you because it's been a massive weekend for yourself. And your involvement this year has been great with the female footy focus taking over from Josh Ward's role.
Big shoes to fill, isn't it? Have I covered that?
Oh, I think so. I think you've done it in spades. Oh, before we go, the tipping comp.
Oh, no.
I just need to double check who's actually won on this one.
But I think I got every tip right except for Montrose Brewer because I tipped Montrose.
I haven't actually got it in front of me, I don't think. So, unfortunately, I don't have the official.
You tipped South Belgrave. So
I was wrong on South Belgrave.
You obviously would have tipped North Ringwood.
Yep, I tipped North Ringwood. I tipped Murrabak, Heathmont, Vermont Gold.
I tipped Vermont Gold too.
And Norwood, we all tipped in that last round. So I believe, just doing a quick math here, bear with me for a second, but it looks like I've finished on 201. You have finished on 196. Kate has finished on 195. And Chris has finished on... And Chris has actually got the perfect 6 from the weekend, finished on 199. So Chris... Another couple of weeks, he might have pipped me at the post, but I think that crowns me the winner.
Yeah,
redemption for me. We talked about redemption for North Ringwood. Redemption for me in the tipping comp this season.
Wrap things up.
We'll work out a prize for me. I'll organise that for myself. Did we? I think we said it was $100 buy-in, wasn't it?
No, we didn't say that.
I'm pretty sure
I
we
think
did.
You're just talking. By yourself here.
Yeah, careful. Again, thank you for coming in again today this season. Before we close things out, to finish off with a massive 2025 season, we move into 6 divisions this year. We've got 3 extra new clubs in Balwyn, Templestowe and Norwood joining the competition, 6 premiership winners, and a fantastic season overall. So a big thank you to all the clubs in getting on board this season. It's been a big year. There's more to come with female footy focus and the senior women's competition and wrapping things up over the next few weeks. But we do thank you again for listening in, and we wish, we're looking forward to getting stuck into now the senior men's finals and wrapping things up there for season 2025. But a big thank you again for watching or listening today.